some jokes that hardly anybody liked, but she was right for me. No one else could see her the way I see. She's hot around the edge, but easy on the eyes. Only can never lie. Have a drink with me, and sing along like you still believe. We were young.
Hi, I'm Kim Vanell in Wanganui, New Zealand. It's Thursday, February 5th. Today, Trump pulls 700 ICE agents out of Minnesota. We look at how much of a risk AI is to the jobs market. Savannah Guthrie makes an emotional plea for her mother's return. And the US-Russia nuclear pact expires at a tricky time. This is Reuters World News, bringing you everything you need to know from the front lines in 10 minutes, 7 days a week.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But here's a big one you need to hear. Billions. That's the amount of money in refunds the IRS has flagged for possible identity fraud. Now here's another big number, 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. One last big number, save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
I have announced effective immediately. We will draw down 700 people effective today.
US Border Czar Tom Homan in Minneapolis announcing a reduction in ICE and Border Patrol agents in Minnesota. The move will still leave some 2,000 agents in the area. Homan says the drawdown comes alongside greater cooperation from local authorities. One of the demands Homan had made is for local authorities to let ICE into prisons. Our reporter Maria Svitskova in Minneapolis says that's been agreed to.
We don't know the exact extent of this cooperation, but we know that ICE wants to access jails, and specifically immigrants who are being released from jails. And he claimed that access was given to get to the people in custody before they hit the streets.
Minnesota says its state-run prison system already gives ICE everything the law requires. The Department of Corrections notifies ICE anytime it takes in someone convicted of a felony who isn't a US citizen. And when ICE sends a detainer request asking the prison to hold on to someone so federal agents have time to pick them up, Minnesota says it complies. But that cooperation looks different at the local level. County sheriffs run the jails, and only a small fraction of Minnesota's counties have formal agreements with ICE. Some sheriffs argue that letting federal agents inside their jails can make immigrant communities less willing to report crimes. The Supreme Court has ruled that California can use a new congressional map. The decision gives Democrats 5 more potential seats, offsetting the 5 red seats added by Texas's new map, also approved by the Supreme Court last year. It's a major victory for the Democrats as they look to win back control of the House in the November midterms. To markets now and the big tech sell-off we saw this week. Here's Morning Bid host Mike Dolan with the latest.
Yeah, tech sector volatility is continuing right through the night and into Thursday's trading, despite an astonishing plan by Alphabet to more than double its capital expenditure in 2026, which is more than 50% above what people had expected it to do. Its stock is still down ahead of the bell. So the whole AI story has raised the question this week, is it good for the stock market or does it disrupt as many companies as it benefits?
Thanks, Mike. And you can listen to Morning Bid wherever you get your podcasts. That AI-fueled stock sell-off is once again raising questions over whether this transformative technology poses an existential threat to the jobs market. And some of the latest figures from Europe are looking into just that. Mark John is our European economics editor.
So I think we have to say that so far any impact is really showing up more in smaller surveys rather than the actual official unemployment numbers. But that said, there is increasing evidence of firms slowing down the hiring because they believe there will be some kind of productivity payoff from AI-driven automation. And last week we had the head of the Federal Reserve in the US, Jerome Powell, who said that there could be a link between the rise of AI use and what they've seen as a lower hiring rate among recent college graduates in the US. We've also seen a number of companies that have actually cited AI adoption or future AI adoption as one of the reasons behind some big layoffs recently. For example, Amazon, Lufthansa, and so on. What I think a number of experts are questioning at the moment is to what extent AI really is one of those factors, or is it in some cases being used almost as a pretext to shed staff after the kind of the overhiring that we saw sometimes during the COVID pandemic?
The Washington Post, owned by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, has announced it will move ahead with widespread layoffs. In a call with staff, the Post's executive editor said that 1/3 of employees would be let go. That includes lots of sports reporters and foreign correspondents. Bezos bought the paper back in 2013, but has struggled to make it profitable. In a statement, the Post's union wrote that if Bezos would no longer invest in the paper, then, quote, "the Post deserves a steward that will."
We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen.
An emotional appeal from Today Show host Savannah Guthrie and her siblings to anyone who might be holding their missing 84-year-old mother. Nancy Guthrie is presumed abducted, and Savannah pleads for an open line of communication with her possible abductors. The video appeal coincided with a flurry of intense police activity at her Arizona home, where yellow crime scene tape was seen for the first time this week. The man who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump at a Florida golf course in September of 2024 has been sentenced to life in prison. 59-year-old Ryan Rout was convicted last fall after prosecutors showed he'd spent weeks tracking Trump's movements. He was caught by Secret Service after waiting nearly 10 hours in the bushes with a rifle. It was the second assassination attempt against Trump during the 2024 campaign, the first 2 months earlier in Pennsylvania, when Trump was grazed by a bullet during a rally. Routh represented himself at the trial and offered little defense. When the verdict was read, he tried to stab himself with a pen and had to be restrained. The last nuclear arms treaty between Russia and the United States has expired. The expiration of the New START treaty leaves the world's two biggest nuclear powers without any limits for the first time in more than half a century. Putin has proposed extending the treaty's limits, but Russian officials say Washington hasn't responded. Trump has given mixed signals, saying he wants China included in any new agreement. Reporter Mark Trevelyan is our lead writer on the Russia desk.
Ever since 1969, when the Soviet Union and the United States first embarked on these conversations, there has always been either a treaty in place to limit strategic nuclear weapons or a process of negotiation underway. And right now, none of those two things is in place. So it leaves a vacuum in which the risk, according to arms control experts, is that each side will basically have to proceed on the basis of worst case assumptions about what the other is doing. And that can lead us into an inexorable build-up with each side adding more and more warheads on the assumption the other is doing the same.
And Mark says that China is also a key factor in what happens next.
Some people have argued that Trump was right not to go for an extension of the limits in the treaty, because that would have tied the Americans' hands. Those people are arguing that Trump should free the United States right now from the New START limits in order to respond to a big and rapid build-up of China's nuclear arsenal. China is now at an estimated 600 warheads. The Pentagon thinks it could get to 1,000. warheads within a relatively short period of time. That's still thousands less than Russia and the United States, but it's catching up. And so the argument is that the United States is facing an imminent future where it will have to deal with not one, but two nuclear rivals, and therefore it should, according to the proponents of this argument, it should increase its nuclear arsenal.
And for today's recommended read, we look at how a team working for US spy chief Tulsi Gabbard led an investigation into Puerto Rico's voting machines last spring. Sources say the goal was to investigate claims that Venezuela had hacked voting machines there, but the probe did not produce any clear evidence of Venezuelan interference. Gabbard's office has confirmed the investigation, but denied the Venezuela link. There's a link to that story in the pod description. For more on any of the stories from today, check out Reuters.com or the Reuters app. Don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast player. If you're listening on a smart speaker.
Largemouth fishing another time. You got too much on your plate to bait and cast a line. You can always put a rain check in his hand till you can't, till you can't. You can keep putting off forever with that girl whose heart you hold, swearing that you'll ask someday, but further down the road, you can always put a diamond on her hand, till you can't, till you can't. If you got a chance, take it. Take it while you got a chance. If you got a dream, chase it, 'cause a dream won't chase you back. If you're gonna love somebody, hold them as long and as strong and as close as you can, until you can, till you can. Now there's a box of greasy parts sitting in the trunk of that 65, still waiting on you and your grandpa to bring it back to life. You can always get around to fixing up that old Pontiac, till you can, till you can. If you got a chance, take it. Take it while you got a chance. If you got a dream, chase it, 'cause a dream won't chase you back. If you're gonna love somebody, hold them as long and as strong and as close as you can, till you can, till you can. You know, I awoke one Sunday morning all alone with this song stuck in my head. And in that moment, something or someone spoke to me. They said there was still a verse that needed to be written for this song, and to get up and write it down. There's a book that's sitting in your house somewhere that could use some dusting off. There's a man who died for all our sins, hanging from the cross. You can give your life to Jesus, and He give you a second chance till you can't, till you can't. If you got a chance, take it while you got a chance. If you got a dream, chase it, 'cause a dream won't chase you back. If you're gonna love somebody, hold them as long and as strong and as close as you can, until you can, until you can. If you got a chance, take it while you got a chance. If you got a dream, chase it, 'cause a dream won't chase you back. If you're gonna love somebody, hold them as long and as strong and as close as you can, until you can, until you can, until you can. She makes you smile. The women smile on the other end of the phone, in the middle of a highway, driving alone with the eye. I'll give you a song that makes you sing along and get you thinking about her. Then the last several miles turn into a blur. I hope you don't feel it falls by the end of the drive. You know she's the one by the end of the night. You never ever felt more free till you pray and say you're so happy. Yeah, I hope she comes along your legs, every one of your plans. You spend your last night and put her in her hair. She's brighter than your wildest dreams. She's everything you're ever gonna need. And then I hope she sees like you did on me. Yeah. And then I hope she sees like you did on me. Yeah, it all shows up in a toy handpicked from a friend, hanging on to a guy. You just ain't him. I hope you stay up all night, all alone, waiting by the phone. And then she calls, and baby, I hope you work it out. Forgive and just about forget, and take her on a first date again. And when you're lean in for a kiss, I hope you both feel fine by the end of the drive. You know she's the one by the end of the night. You never ever felt more free till you pray and say you're so happy. I hope she comes around your ex, every one of your plans. You spend your last time, put her in her hair. She's brighter than your wildest dreams. She's everything you're ever gonna need. And then I hope she sees like you did on me. The ghost comes all the way around. I wish I let you feel the same way about her that I feel about you right now. I hope you both feel the fuck by the end of the drive. You know she's the one by the end of the night. You never ever felt more free till you pray and say you're so happy. I hope she comes along your ex, every one of your plans. Spend your last time, put her in her hair. She's brighter than your wildest dreams. She's everything you're ever gonna need. Yeah. Like you did on silent, he's steady like the hurricane he runs. He knows just where he's going and he's proud of where he's from. He's one good one. Ooh, yeah, he's one good one. Come on! Love me like you should want, like you wrote the book on.
Microphones so they could say what was on their mind. This is what's on mine. I just want to catch my fish, drive my truck, drink my beer, and not wake up to all this stuff I don't want to hear. Like the same kind of gun I hunt with just killed another man. The only thing mine ever shot was a deer from my deer stand. I just want to cut my grass, feed my dogs, wear my boots, not turn the TV on, sit and watch the evening news. Be told if I tell my own daughter that little boys ain't little girls, I'll be up the creek in hot water, this castle yours world. It ain't easy being country in this country nowadays. The directions the fingers point when everything goes up in flames. Saying I'm some right-wing devil, 'cause I was down south Jesus raised. It ain't easy being country in this country nowadays. I just wanna cut my grass, watch my game, say my prayers, not get a picture of a flag up in flames while people cheer. Oh, the same one my granddaddy fought for, stomped on like it's trash. And I'm a downright hateful monster, back to blue and bash. It ain't easy being country in this country nowadays. The direction the fingers point, everything goes up in flames. Saying I'm some right-wing devil, 'cause I'll spread that of Jesus rays. It ain't easy being country in this country, because I have my morals and a small town point of view. You assume that you don't like me means I don't like you too. It ain't easy being country in this country nowadays. In this country nowadays. I have a tendency to pay more attention to the things that I do. Sometimes I drink too much, sometimes I test your trust, sometimes I don't know why you stay with me. I'm hard to love, oh I don't make it easy. I couldn't do it if I stood where you stood. I'm hard to love. You say that you need me, well I don't deserve it, but I love that you love me good. Yeah, you love me good, yeah. 'Cause you've given me a million second chances, and I don't ever wanna take you for granted. I'm just a man. Hard to love, oh I don't make it easy. I couldn't do it if I stood where you stood. I'm hard to love. You say that you need me, well I don't deserve it, but I love that you love me good.
This is DW News. These are our top stories. Top diplomats from Iran and the United States are set to hold talks in the Gulf state of Oman amid rising tension. Washington wants Tehran to cut back its nuclear program and end the crackdown on anti-government protests. Iran says it will only discuss nuclear matters. The U.S. and Israel